Where is that stupid fox? If I see him, I will rip that animal apart. Farmer Bean, the turkey and apple farmer, searches left and right, alongside with his trusted associates, Buns and Boggis, for the notorious fox. All their chickens and ducks and turkeys and geese stolen almost every night. But little did they know, the fantastic Mr. Fox and his family lives in a tree on a hill just nearby their big and wonderful farms. One fateful night, Mrs. Fox made a request to her husband. "Dear, can I have the plumpest, most juiciest duck for dinner tonight?" Mr. Fox smiled. "Your wish is my command, my darling." And so, Mr. Fox creeped down to the farms, but this time he couldn't smell the farmer's scent like he usually would. Oh well, they must be away. Mr. Fox crept and crept till he saw a tiny speck of moonlight shining on something. Bam! That was the sound of a shotgun. He zigzagged away, making sure they couldn't shoot him. He made it back home safely, but he felt a stinging feeling and couldn't exactly pinpoint it where it's coming from. Mr. Fox turned around and gasped, "Shoot! My tail's gone!" Farmer Bean said, "This just won't do. I've had enough of this shenanigans. We need him dead, not his tail." But it does make a good tie though. Farmer Bean lost his temper but soon recovered with a smirk on his face. "Boys, it's time to bring out the big guns." While Mrs. Fox was treating her husband's tail stump, "Ouch! Gently, dear." Suddenly, they heard a loud rumbling and the ground was shaking. Deep below the ground, they also heard the echoes of a loud sound, something like a tractor's horn. "Is that an earthquake?" he wondered. Mr. Fox finally figured it out, and his eyes turned wide. "They're destroying our home! We need to dig deep!" So they did exactly that. They dug and dug and dug, so that the tractors couldn't catch them. After all, nobody in the world can dig as quick as a fox. Meanwhile, Farmer Bean and Buns were having the time of their lives with the tractors, shoveling big chunks of soil till there were nothing left of the fox residence. After hours of digging, the Fox family decided to retreat in a deep tunnel for safety. They waited patiently for the farmer's scents to disappear. But they just won't disappear. Looks like the farmers are camping out just right above us. To make things worse, a rich scent of steaming chicken came wafting down to the tunnel. "Can you smell that? I'm sure you're hungry." Boggis held the chicken close to the ground. Now Mr. Fox's children are crying. "Dad, we're so hungry. Can't we just sneak out and snatch the chicken quickly?" "No, that's too risky. You have to think of another way." And another way there was. Mr. Fox's eyes lit up as he had thought of a brilliant idea to save his family. "What is it, Dad? What's the big idea?" asked the pups excitedly. "Well, I don't think it's gonna work, boys. You guys haven't eaten anything for 3 days, and my plan requires more digging." "It will work, Dad, because we will help you, no matter what." Mr. Fox was touched by his son's determination, so he hugged his children, stood up straight, and raised his hand high. "Let the digging begin!" But this time, in a special direction. So they dug left and right, and then left again, and then right again, and finally upwards and upwards. His paws touched a hard surface. "Stop! think this is it. Look, it's wood. It means it's somebody's house. But oh no, it's more than just a house. Mr. Fox heard faint sounds grew louder as he pushed the wooden planks. And now his long nose sniffed a delightful smell coming all at once. He got out of his digging hole and to his surprise, jackpot! It's Farmer Bean's chicken house! Yippee! Hooray! Cheered his children. And so they grabbed all the chicken they could and brought them into the tunnel. Go, my children, bring them all to Mummy. But before Mr. Fox left, he sniffed something unfamiliar. Apples. No, what is it? It's that thing. It's cider and it's nearby. Mr. Fox digged a little to the left and downwards and stumbled across a crumbly old cement floor and dug it up. To his surprise, it was not just an old dusty cellar. It was the biggest cider cellar he'd ever seen, and best of all, it's Bean's secret cider cellar. And so he took a wheelbarrow and threw all the cider he could get into the wheelbarrow. But suddenly, the lights went on. A large female figure came down the stairs. I heard something. Come out, you! It was Mrs. Bean, and she looked scarier than Mr. Bean. Mr. Fox quickly took all the cider into the tunnel before she could find him. And so, alas, the Fox family has all the chickens and ciders that could last them for months, maybe even years. Everyone, we will stay in this hole for a long time. But now, let the feast begin, Mr. Fox declared proudly. His wife and the small foxes cheered happily with chicken drumsticks in their right hand and ciders in their left hand. But meanwhile, the three farmers were still up outside the fox's hole waiting patiently for the foxes to come out. They must be starving. They'll come out soon. And so they wait and wait and wait. As far as I know, they're still waiting.